Okay, since this video obviously will since the video obviously will not process on YouTube due to the fact that I tried to put it in 4K 60 frame per second, I thought I could just use my camcorder to record off of this. Sorry, that was my iTunes confirming that the update is done on one of the CDs. So without further ado, let's record.
Oh boy, hope you guys are ready for this one because this CD update is gigantic. For many months I've been holding out on it and I just cannot do it anymore. I just cannot prolong it any further. I just cannot procrastinate it, but alright. Let's go. Stack number 1 of 4. Let's go through this one first. Overkill's 1994 album, WFO. Look at the background. You can see the Twin Towers as they were still standing at the time, as this was taken in New York. A lot of kick-ass songs on there. Overkill's like one of the only California thrash metal bands to never really sell out or slump in quality. So even though I think they have a damn near perfect discography, I still like a lot of bands better than Overkill, but they're still up there in one of my favorite bands. Next is Baptize from Spinefarm Records. Thanks to the new album from Atreyu, because I kind of warmed up a little bit to Atreyu after I was playing their song on Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock. So thanks to my good buddy Blaze Life 334, a lot of these CDs came from him. And holy fuck, do I have a lot to go through. This gives my good buddy Levi McIntyre, also known as Thrash Maniac 99, the uncontrollable urge to grow his CD collection to catch up to mine. So if I'm making Levi jealous because Hoover is milking every drop of me, you know you're doing something right and or crazy. Next is one of the modernized thrash metal albums, The Raging Tides, by the German thrash metal band Exhumer, signed to Metal Blade Records. This is definitely one of the more kick-ass albums of 2016. If you ever wanted to go harking back to a lot of Diamonds on the Rough, even if you weren't very fond of 2016, this metal album is the way to go. Next is Rise Against Nowhere Generation. Another kick-ass album of 2021 that I'm bound to get a kick out of. And then here's an all-female heavy metal band, Burning Witches. That's assigned to, of course, the ever-so-popular Nuclear Blast Records. So another kick-ass album of 2021 that I got a kick out of when I downloaded on Apple Music. So I'm looking to really have it permanently on my iTunes Records library. Next is a 2001 album, since I told Alex Hoover to get some 2001 and 2011 albums, since arguably we probably could have been listening to those albums in our adult years, is Sum 41. And the song Fat Lip right here is on track number 4, which was from Guitar Hero 1, which I have seen not too long ago. All killer, no filler. With a lot of funny faces on the front cover. Which they also did a collab with Iggy Pop for their song Little Know It All. Next is one of the more underrated brutal technical death metal bands, Broken Hope. Which pretty much sums up my hope for everyone's hope for NASCAR at this point, but it also signifies one of my favorite bands, which was also assigned to Metal Blade Records. This was kind of like a Suffocation mixed with Cannibal Corpse, and then meaning it's like crazy yet professionally controlled and professionally disciplined. And here's another thrash metal classic, Eternal Nightmare, which is like a mesh of Iron Maiden with Overkill, and then you got Violence. I don't know why I procrastinated on having this album for so long, because this was definitely one of the more well talked about, underrated albums, and I just, for some reason, never got to it, but there I am with it. Next is Artillery's new album, X. Keeping thrash metal alive as it deserves to be. Metal Blade Records. Can't really say what tracks I am most fond with, because a lot of them are always tick after tick after tick after tick. And finally, I got some Artillery in my collection. And next is a band I really regret not getting into sooner. Frozen Crown, Winter Bane. My favorite on there is for sure track number 5, which is Crown Eternal. Far Beyond is another great one. Embrace the Night. I was listening to this on the way to Florida, which was April 23rd, 2021, which was the release date of this album. And I'm kind of glad I got some good modern today 2021 vibes out of this album. And I'm gonna look back on it and say, the nostalgia when the year, say, like 2031 hits. Next is another shocking album when there was some very unpleasant person coming up towards a little girl on a swing set with whatever it is that he's holding in his hand, but I'm sure it's not very pleasant. Korn. Another new metal classic that I am sure a lot of people will get a kick out of and have a sentimental feel to it, which also meshes well with a lot of PS1 games. Next is Hostile Defiance by Exhumer. One of the more recent albums of 2019, which is also an absolute ass kicker. Metal Blade Records once again. Keep The World Alive from 2014, since I mentioned Uwe the other day that I was warming up to The World Alive because of their DLC on Rock Band. So then he decided to contribute my library by adding some World Alive to my collection. Life is Peachy by Korn next, from the year 1996. Epic Records Group and Roadrunner Records for Corey Taylor's other big name band, Stone Sour. Roadrunner Records. Sorry if I'm rushing through this because it's going to be absolutely fucking gargantuan given how many CDs I have been piling on, because I don't want to make this video overstay its welcome too long. If you guys really want to see every single CD I have to go through, well, good luck, because I recommend watching 10 minutes one day, 10 minutes the next, 10 minutes the next, yada yada yada, just to make your life easier. Next is Blessed Are the Sick by Morbid Angel. One of the more overlooked albums of the 1980s. A lot of people say that metal, death metal started in 1990s, but it really was. But death metal existed as far back as the 1980s, thanks to Possess album Seven Churches and Sepultura's Morbid Visions album. And I really think a lot of people should harken back to the albums like these, because Morbid Angel was a big diamond on the rough in the not a diamond on the rough, but one of the more overlooked bands of the 1980s, because it's where they originated, the death metal genre, but they really became popular the following decade. Next is Korn, Untouchables. And then we've got a classic crossover thrash metal album, thanks to my good buddy Levi for introducing me to them in 2014. Cryptic Slaughter album, Convicted. Relapse Records from 1986, one of my favorite years for metal, of course. As all of you have been hearing about my Chernobyl fetishism, and of course the year that Metallica released their album Master of Puppets, and Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s second championship season. Next is Miles Kennedy, The Ides of March, Napalm Records, which is the artist from Alter Bridge. And Cannibal Corpse's new albums, Violence Unimagined, from Metal Blades Records once again. I've heard quite a lot of Violence Unimagined on the Liquid Metal station, so it's going to be pretty damn good to update it and listen to it on my iPod. Next is Destruction Born to Perish. Oops. The cover's on there weirdly. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry guys for delaying this. Born to Perish, another German thrash metal goodie assigned to Nuclear Blast Records, which is pretty much the flagship of all metal bands except for Metal Blades and Napalm. Next is I think, doom metal album, Moonspell, Hermitage. Another 2021 album. Next is A Day to Remember from 2021. You're welcome. You weren't. Thank you, Blaze Life. You're welcome, Ferranti. Alright, let me finish up the stack. Hopefully I finish it in less than an hour. Probably won't be likely. Let's see, tribute. Let's see, Evil's latest album, Hell Unleashed. It's definitely an ass kicker, as I've been listening to it quite a bit on Liquid Metal and Levi's stream, so I definitely am glad to have this one in my collection as well. And then, the album that was playing while Hoover and I were pranking Levi on his stream, produced all by Quorthon. He's just that much of a legend. May you rest in peace. Necromancy was a song playing when Hoover and I were pranking Levi, by the way. I'm never gonna forget that fact now. Next is Tribulation, where the gloom becomes sound. And finally I got a Deftones album, Minerva. Sorry. Next, we've got Alice in Chains' Sap album, and CMFT by Corey Taylor, because, well, Corey Taylor is an awesome dude, and I love everything that he stands for. I may not be a super massive fan of Slipknot, but he is right about a lot of things, he says. Next, we forgot Pestilence, the Consuming Impulse, which is a band that was thrash metal at first, but then became death metal, which is a very experimental, extreme metal band that goes from one extreme to another. World Alive, Deceiver. Yeah, I'm not sure if I remember buying this one lately, but I'm sure it was Hoover that bought me this one. I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's gonna kick ass because I don't remember if I bought it or Hoover bought it. Nevertheless, it's definitely gonna be a kick-ass album to listen to. Next is another World Alive album, Violent Noise, from 2018, and then another World Alive album where there's bullets in a pill canister, Blistering. It still says new album, even though it's 2012. I assume that the cover is pretty old. Pretty old. Next is Rise Against the Black Market. And then one of the classic 90s albums, 90s thrash metal albums, which I do recommend a lot of people start giving more love to, because there were a lot more good thrash metal albums than bad. 90s never flopped with metal never flopped in the 90s, which is something that people need to get through their thick skulls, because this album right here is definitely the catalyst, which is none other than Get What You Deserved by the ever so beloved thrash metal band from Germany. Sorry, that is called none other than Soda. Pretty seductive, yet not so seductive cover right here. I can only imagine why Levi loves that album cover. Next is Domination by Morbid Angel, another 90s classic, where one of the albums I think sounded almost exactly like Shepherd of Fire. I don't remember what song it was, but I'm sure it was Dominate or This Means War, which is also a song title of Avenged Sevenfold. Nevertheless, I like the sound of this band, but sometimes it sounds a bit too much like the vocals are water drowning. A lot of people call The Eye of the Beholder drowning vocals. Check this album out in the first few tracks, because whoop. Next is Teteract, Unstable, another 2021 gem. Next is a classic self-titled album from 1987, Keel. I don't know why they took off the previous album, Final Frontier, from 1986 on Apple Music. I'm pretty sure I have the Keel album of that year, but I just don't seem to quite remember as my CD collection is so gargantuan that I have a hazy memory. Next is Kill Grid by Enforced, another 2021 gem. And next is another heavy metal album that I really wish that I got into sooner, and that is Lucid Hammer. I listened to this quite a bit while I was on my drive in Nashville, so I decided to get it on CD. And much like Ambushed, Enforcer, Air Raid, White Wizard, Steel Wing, Lucid Hammer is another heavy metal band that deserves love and attention. Alright, Mutilator, Immortal Force is another underrated 80s thrash metal album. Gojira, Fortitude, Roadrunner Records, and then here's another classic from the early 2000s, but I think it was 2010s, where I first heard of this guy's from NASCAR Inside Line, Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, and here's another classic extreme metal album, Morbid Tales by Celtic Frost, one of the holy grails of extreme metal, and I'm glad I now officially own Celtic Frost. I hope I don't explode my shelf with all these CDs. Next is, well, why not? Smash Mouth, thanks to Alex Hoover. Extreme Sides to Every Story from 1992. I'm glad I now officially own a lot of the early holy grails of those metal bands. Next is a Muse album, where the song Knights of Sidonia was on, from Guitar Hero 3. And now here's another Korn classic, that is Follow the Leader. self-explanatory when it comes to this particular album, that even people who aren't fans of it immediately recognize the iconic album art of it. Next is another classic 90s album, Smashing Pumpkins, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. And here's an album I got from Atlantic Sound Records, Pitch Shifter. Thanks to Test Drive 5 for introducing me to this particular album. Especially the songs like Genius, the number 6 track. I'm having trouble with what other tracks they included in Test Drive 5, but I do immediately get the Test Drive 5 vibes whenever I see this album cover. Same with the KMFDM album cover. I don't remember what that album cover was, but I do remember Anarchy being one of the song names, and there were 2 other songs I have trouble remembering the song names. I'm sure I'll recognize it when I see it. Next is 2 Incubus albums, Make Yourself and Morning View. These 2 are quite stellar albums. This definitely is most stellar, no pun intended. Next is, pretty sure I already had this album. I don't remember owning this album, honestly. I think I actually do have this album already, but I think my mom may have gotten it when she was at Goodwill. I don't remember, honestly. I'll probably just keep it as a side album, just so I can have it standing by for anybody that doesn't have it yet. Next is Every 6 Seconds by Saliva and Get Born by Jet. I almost said JetBlue. Brain fart again. Alright, to finish off the second to last stack, Wilding 2 Collective Soul, Google Goals, Dizzy Up the Girl. 2 damn good 90s albums, of course. Who can ever go wrong with those gems? Next is another 2000s classic, which is Tenacious D. Who can ever go wrong with Jack Black or Kyle Gass? Great funny tunes to listen to if you're ever into like comedy metal or comedy rock, like Steel Panther or Tenacious D. Just anything that metal or rock that's not meant to be taken too seriously. Next is U2 War, Something Like Human by Fuel, another classic 2000s albums, even though, 1981 for U2 War. Filter. Let's see. I recognize Filter somewhere. I think they had the song, Hey Man, Nice